Have you ever felt anxiety just from looking at your phone or the thought of you having to open up your bank account app? Well, I know that feeling because I've been there. I've had debt, and a lot of people do have debt right now as well. Debt actually sucks. It's not something a lot of people are proud of, and it's a very taboo subject to talk about just because this is a topic that a lot of people still tend to struggle with, and a lot of people don't want to come face to face with what reality is. So what we're going to do in today's video is actually go over the game plan that you guys need to actually battle this debt and just to get over it. The whole point of this is for the people watching this video to achieve that financial freedom that everyone deserves. Now, I've grown up in a household my entire life where I've faced and battled debt, not just for myself, but people within my own family. So I have seen the negative side of debt and really just what it can do to families. What I truly believe the first step that you guys need to do is really be honest with yourself. In this video, I'm really not here to scold anyone on what their spending habits are or maybe the mistakes that they made in the past. So this video is actually going to be pretty simple in terms of the strategies that you guys should have in terms of battling debt. I've already touched base on just the mindset you should have, and you should start out with the mindset of not looking back, not thinking about all the mistakes that you've made, not thinking that, oh, I shouldn't have bought that item on Amazon, I should not have eaten out that day, I should not done this or that. That doesn't matter. You can really make yourself feel as bad as possible, but at the end of the day, we're in the present moment. None of that is going to change if you keep just blaming yourself for the things you've done in the past. If we're talking about strategies and a good blueprint on how you guys can overcome this, I'm going to break this up in terms of sports literature. This is just really the easiest way that I can wrap my head around this and to really give you guys the best analogy for you to understand. Just like in any sports, you have offense and defense, and you really need to maximize both sides for you to actually win the game, win the championship, and just dominate the world. In whatever sport you play, they say that offense is important. You need a good offense for you to actually get on the scoreboard, for you to be able to do things, but they say without a good defense that all of it is pointless. They say defense is actually what wins championships. When we're talking about personal finance and battling debt, your offense is going to be accumulating more wealth. It's going to be finding that second job, working overtime, asking for a raise, finding a side hustle. Your offensive is you going out your way to increase your income, to get points on the board. When we're talking about something like defense, it's really budgeting. It's actually finding where you're leaking money, all those subscriptions that you may not need, or maybe going to the most expensive Trader Joe's in your area where you can actually go to the Giant on Tuesdays or Wednesdays when prices are a little lower, and actually budgeting yourself by creating a good, solid defense. Look, you really need to be good on both sides. You can't just be dominant in one, because I've seen people who are extremely good at the offense. They can make hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, but they have no defense at all. And usually these are celebrities, these are NFL players, NBA players, people who get a large sum of money but end up just blowing it. Even according to a 2009 Sports Illustrated article, they say 35% of NFL players either go bankrupt or are under financial stress within 2 years. That's not a matter of how much money that they couldn't make. These are people that have signed contracts of millions and millions of dollars because this is in the entertainment industry. These are people who had no defense at all within their personal finance category and end up losing all of that money. There's a parallel with that. There's a repetition with that. Lottery winners, other celebrities, other people, just there are a lot of people that you guys may know, may not know, or may come across in the future that have excellent offense, but without a good defense, you lose that money. I think a really good example of someone who's in the NFL and is actually very frugal and does not spend a lot of their money is Marshawn Lynch. He is a player that you guys may have heard of, but a lot of people do not realize that he's actually saved almost all of his NFL earnings and he just doesn't spend a dime. He's someone that we would probably compare to like the Graham Stevens of the NFL industry. He's really at that level, and that is something that I actually look up to, because as you gain more wealth in your life, what tends to happen to a lot of people is that they end up spending a lot more money, or they think, okay, I never had the money to be able to go out to Gucci or Louis, and now I can buy all these stupid things without thinking about it, because they think that it's going to last for a long time, when in reality, that is not the case. Even if you have one of the best defenses in the world, but your offense is actually trash, you're not really getting anywhere. And a good comparison of that would probably be someone who saves a lot of their money but can't make any money in return. So that's probably a good example of like maybe college students who do not have jobs or do not really have true incomes, but they don't really spend that much money. So you really need to find a balance in both. But I always say that defense is really where it's always going to be superior, not just in sports, but also in personal finance. So what we're going to do next is talk about the defense and exactly what you guys need to focus on, because if we talk more about the offense, a lot of these things are going to be more catered towards individuals. So I can't say do this and it's going to apply to everyone. If you're someone who's already working your full potential, you can't work anymore, then you already know that you're already at the extent and that you may need to focus more on the defensive side of things. But if you're someone who has enough time in their day, like I mentioned earlier in the video, all you have to do is just focus on getting overtime, focus on getting a second job, improving your salary, improving your income, doing things that will allow you to make more money, even passive income. If you're working all the hours that you can, think about different businesses or side hustles that can actually make you money on the side without you having to do anything. I will make more videos on that. So my approach for 2020 is actually talking more about exactly different side hustles you guys can start, different businesses that you guys can start, because prior to me starting this YouTube channel where you guys are watching me now, I didn't start with anything. I was a college student. I was broke. I was actually using my initial college student money loan that I got from the government to actually fuel my business and to get to where I am now. Pretty crazy story, which we will go over in the future. So if you guys want to hear more about that, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe. And when I come out with that video, you guys will get notified. So for any good defense to work, you need to find where your weak spots are. Sometimes it may be just a weak link with one person. Sometimes it might just be you not being good in one area. You need to focus on what that area is. You need to find the leaks and you need to clog that hole. And the best way to do this is by budgeting. You guys will hear budgeting time in, time out. It's a concept that has not changed. And the reason why everyone says budgeting is the way to go, it's because this is primarily the technique that you need for you to actually start getting improvement in terms of fighting the debt that you may have. Simply put, creating a budget allows you to put money that you already made back to where it goes and you're not leaking it anywhere else. If you're working 16 hours a day, if you're working 7 days a week, income is not the problem. It may be where your money is going. And then we're gonna go more into the psychology factor of things. Budgeting offers 3 specific benefits that I see. Number 1, it can help you pinpoint exactly where you need to save your money, where you're spending your money, and exactly where you should be putting your money. It also gives you a very strong visual of exactly where you are in terms of tracking your progress. Now, I think the best benefit out of all those things I mentioned though is that you actually get a real estimate of when you can pay off your debt. So for me, if I'm running a marathon, if I'm playing a game and I'm already exhausted, the worst thing for me is to not know when the end is up. I want to know where that finish line is. I want to know how far off we are from actually winning the game, and budgeting allows you to do that. If you understand how much money you're making consistently a month, you can really gauge exactly where you can put your money so you can figure out exactly when you'll be debt free. Now, it's a good thing we live in 2020, and it's a good thing you guys are watching this video, because if you are watching this video right now, chances are you have an internet connection, you have the ability to download apps on your phone like I have right here, and there are some really spectacular, completely free apps that you guys can use to actually start budgeting. Now, the most popular app out there is mint.com. This is the one that a lot of people end up downloading, but I know a lot of people do not end up using. Mint, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes has some bugs and glitches, but keep in mind they are a free app and they need to work with other banks and issuers because they pull in all your data, how much you're spending on your credit cards, how much money is coming in, and then for you to allocate how much money you should be putting towards different things. Now, Mint is definitely a great app. It's completely free, it's easy to use, but I believe the most efficient, the most effective thing for anyone who really wants to dive deep and to be able to calculate this over time, it's by actually just creating your own Google Sheets or your own Excel document and really just tracking it on your own. So I found a very good template. I was doing a ton of digging on the Reddit community of personal finance, and I found this free template that you guys could use for the rest of your life to actually track how much money you're bringing in, how much you're spending, and exactly what you guys can do. And not only is this good just for yourself, but it's really good if you guys end up starting your business one day, because you can really track how much is going in and out, give this to your accountant, and when tax season quickly approaches, and many of you guys probably know how annoying taxes can be, this is something that's actually going to help not only you, but your accountant or anyone who's working with you in terms of the finances that you have. I'll have a link to the Google Doc down below. I'm not charging you. This is completely free. This is a free resource. All that I ask is that you guys smash that like button. That's the only thing I ask for. Doesn't take that much time. But if it does, don't do it, because you know, time is money, money is cheese is what we need. I'll have that link down below, and I really recommend you guys to actually check that out. Plus, you don't have to worry about getting all these notifications from Mint, because Mint tends to like send you a lot of notifications, and Mint makes their money off the cross sells and upsells from those notifications. So that's why they are a free app, and you may wonder, how are they making money and how are they so big? They make a lot of their money off the affiliate links that they will give you once you are actually signed up on their app, because they have access to all of your information at that point. So if you're someone who's very conscious about things like that, the free template budget Google Sheet, this is something that you guys can use. It works very well. Can't go wrong with it. There's already 36 plus people, maybe even more, that are actually using this. So that is available online. I will have that link down below in the description. Okay, now this is one aspect that a lot of people are actually not going to talk about, and this is something that I really tend to focus on, not just in my own life, but in terms of anything that regards just money, just why we do certain things, and that's psychology. For anyone who didn't know, psychology was actually my favorite topic. I love watching things like Sherlock Holmes, why people do certain things. I love reading books on psychology. I really like psychology and exactly why humans do the things that they do. So to start off, there's a principle where humans have this ego. It's kind of like your subconscious, but we all have our ego. And it's a very cliche saying that we may have heard a lot. There's layers to your ego. I'm not going to go specifically in depth about this ego, but the reason why I bring this up and the reason why this is in a credit card debt video is because often people have such high egos where they seem to not be able to let go of these things. And that right there, their ego is the result of their debt. So a good example is, say you're working a minimum wage job, but you really want to impress a lot of the people out there in your life. You want to have the nicest car, you want to live on your own, you want to have the nicest clothing, you want to have some designer brand stuff, but doing that, people don't see the debt that you actually accumulate. And because your ego makes you think like, I'm not good enough, I need to be better, I need to buy these things so I can impress people I do not like. That's the reason why some people get in debt, and that's why I bring the theory or the idea of ego up. So here's the reality. You may be making the most amount of money that you think you can make at the moment. You may be budgeting as much as you can. You're not even eating out every single week. You're just buying groceries, you're eating the off-brand Kellogg's cereal. You're not doing it, you're not treating yourself. Then what could be the issue? It comes down to the ego. Some people feel like they need to have their car. Some people will not take public transportation. Some people will refuse to move back in with their parents. Some people will refuse to get out of their house or sell some of the clothes or the designer stuff that they may have. Some people's egos are just way too inflated, way too big, where they can't actually give up some of the things that they have. If you are in that situation and you haven't given up some of those things, those are actually some things that you guys may want to consider if you really do want to get out of debt. I'm not saying become homeless. I'm not saying just live in. It's just the idea of what you guys need to have. It's the idea of getting those juices flowing in your head and realizing what the problem maybe is for you. Don't be afraid to take on a roommate if you're paying too much rent. Don't be afraid to take public transportation and sell whatever asset or liability is costing you more money now. Think about the long-term idea. Think about exactly how you're benefiting your future self instead of giving yourself the pleasures of today. For me, it's all about swallowing your pride, accepting your ego, and understanding the situation you are in right now. If you really can't let go of some of these things that may cause you to get into debt, you really need to reconsider exactly what your priorities in this life are. Once you begin tracking your expenses, you know exactly how much money is coming in, you're doing your budgeting, and you're doing as much as you can. We need to understand exactly how the whole payoff method is going to work, because now you have an excess amount of money and that money needs to go towards that debt. There are two universal methods that you guys may have heard about. There's the avalanche method and the snowball method. These methods have been around for a while. The snowball method was really coined by Dave Ramsey. He's one of the kings in terms of helping people who have debt, who just struggle a lot financially. He has his own talk show, and we've talked about him a couple times on this channel when we roasted him about his idea of credit cards. I don't agree with him when it comes to credit cards, but I really do agree with him when we talk about the psychology and the principle of exactly why people get into debt and the struggles that people have now. Dave is making a lot of money, and the reason why he's making a lot of money is because he's actually helping a lot of people. That's the common thing that I always say on my channel. Don't worry about how much money you can make today. Worry about how many people you can help today. And that's actually going to be a result of the money you get afterwards. Dave Ramsey, he's helped a lot of people. There's no way we can put it around it. He's helped and changed different people's lives. We're going to talk about the method that he talks about. It's a snowball method. Say you're someone who has 5 different credit cards and all of them have some type of debt. say the one credit card right here, it's a Chase Freedom card and the APR promotion is up and you're paying 30% interest on this card. And then say on your other card, you have a Discover card and it's only like 11%. With the Snowball Method, you focus on paying off the smallest debt first, regardless of the interest rate. So the Avalanche Method really focuses on the quantitative idea, because if you pay off your debt right here, the card that has the most amount of interest, that only makes more sense because you actually save yourself more money because you're getting rid of the highest interest card first. But what I recommend is actually what Dave recommends. And this is probably one of the few times that we talk about and align with like the same principles. He talks about the Snowball Method, and he focuses on this because of the psychology behind things. So normally people get into any type of debt because they have a certain psychology. They're conditioned in a certain way, and the Snowball Method actually focuses on that. So instead of focusing on the highest amount of interest you want to pay off, you focus on the smallest amount of debt that you have first. And once you pay that debt off, you really get in this mindset and this momentum shift where you're like, okay, I just paid off my smallest debt. Let's do the next one. Let's do the next one. Let's do the next one, and you keep going. And in terms of psychology and the way humans work, when you start winning your small little battles, your small little goals, exactly different things that take a while, you start doing well at those little things, and you realize in a matter of no time, you've actually just paid off everything. So the Avalanche Method is definitely smarter in terms of how much money you're actually going to save. But I recommend the Snowball Method because normally if people are more focused on the dollars and the quantitative measure and exactly how much money they could save, they wouldn't be in this position in the first place. And it would come down to there being an issue with something going on back here with your ego, psychology wise. So the Snowball Method focuses on behavior modification. It gives whoever is in debt more hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel, because sometimes that's just hard to see. When you see the numbers of thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, you feel suffocated. You feel like maybe you'll never get out of it. It really is okay. I feel like a lot of people put too much pressure on themselves nowadays, and people often find themselves valuing their worth to whatever their monetary worth is. So if I was negative $5,000 in my bank account right now, that's the value I would put myself as. A lot of people will assume that the guy out there driving the Lamborghini or the nicer car than you is much better than you. He's more successful. He has way better things than you. The most important thing to realize is that's not the case at all. Usually, I'll find that people who are working the blue collar jobs, people who are still working hard, busting their ass, they are the ones that are more fulfilled than the ones that we see out there that are flexing consistently. That's the life lesson. I'm sorry if I went way too like Brian Jung zone on that. I know we kind of strayed away from the point, but when it comes to debt, there is a lot of behavior modifications that need to be made. There is a lot of psychology behind this and exactly why this happens. Sometimes debt just happens because you really want to care for someone. You want to help someone out. You're taking care of more people than you can in your life, and that is okay. That is something I grew up. That is something I felt my entire life. So I'm telling you guys, debt is okay. Don't look at debt like it's some taboo subject. Talk about it with your friends. Bring it up. Hey, like, look, I have student loan debts. I have this much credit card debt. Do you have any? Or do you want to like work with me in terms of budgeting? Really build your community around this, because this is not something that should be taboo. Because if it is taboo, if this is something that people don't want to talk about, it's going to be a harder issue to face, and eventually it's going to come down on you. So guys, I really hope this video helped you guys out. This was a video I wanted to make for a while. I just never really got the chance to, but I am on a journey right now to hit 100,000 subscribers. I want to change as many lives as possible, especially inside of this personal finance industry. If you guys want to be a part of this journey, if you guys want to be with me until I hit, I guess, 100 and then 1 million and then 5 million subscribers, stick around, subscribe. We put out content as much as I can on this channel. So if you guys want to hear more, if you guys want to improve your life, if you guys want to live a financially free life, learn how to start your own business, learn how to get out of debt, use credit cards to travel the world for free, I recommend you guys to stick around, watch some of the videos, take some notes, because you guys will make money, you guys will save money, and you guys will live a better life. So hope this video helped you guys out, and I hope I see you guys in the next one. Peace.